live.
Yes, you can start.
Okay. वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां I'll sing this one. Okay. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ विद्वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
15 to 21.
अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामः मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मनैव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्त सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तद्देवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very good. Thank you. Excellent. Namaste. So we are seeing how Bhagavan is telling Arjuna that his prime duty is to rise above this delusion, confusion that has set in his mind, which is preventing him from doing what he ought to be doing it's becoming a pratibandhaka, it is becoming an obstacle in execution of his duties. So Bhagwan is in the 19th verse, he just said, showing the examples of people in the past before Arjuna who were also from Arjuna's same clan, as if so that he would have knowledge of those people. They were like his ancestors, so he's more familiar with their presence. The stories must have passed down in the families, etc. So Bhagwan very aptly takes Janaka etc's example to bring to Arjuna's mind memory, revoking his memory, that those were also kings and they were also Vidwan. They were Gyanis. How did they become Gyanis? So they did not take a physical renunciation of karma. They did not take to sannyas ashrama, physical sannyas ashrama. And yet, remaining executing their own respective karmas that came ordained to them by their own prarabdha. They attained Chitta Shuddhi, and by constant exposure to listening to Vedanta Vakya, reflecting on it, they gained Jnanam. Jnana Nishtha. They gained Jnana Nishtha means they started abiding in Jnanam. They were living the knowledge. The perfect example that Janaka shows to Shuka. How is it possible? We all get involved. Why are we wanting to give up what we want to do and take to a more easier seemingly and a more comfortable life, which looks to us when we are completely submerged in duties and they seem endless? In Grahasthashram, we finish one set of duties and another starts, a surprise element comes up, and from nowhere a difficulty arises. Yes, you have good moments in between, but it seems to be a constant effort to continue to doing actions as you keep growing older in age also. The same actions that you were very enthused about before, you were very energetic about before, with age also the repetitiveness of it, the boredom of it, the struggles of all the family members, the relatives, etc., etc., that it brings. There's so much happening, as it is said in Grahastha Ashram. So many people, one odd time, the thought rises, looking at the others, especially the other ashram only left now forward is sannyas ashram. And when you look that they seem to be not working, but they still seem to have been taken care of fairly well, a thought arises that yes, I also want to give up. How is it possible to remain functioning with so much happening in our lives? How is it possible to remain anchored in knowledge? What we hear in the classes, unless it is repeated over years, the thoughts don't remain. The minute the class gets over, in the past we used to joke when there were physical classes कि चप्पल उतार के क्लास में क्यों आते हैं. In fact, we used to do it as an exercise कि क्लास के पहले अपनी चप्पल उतारो, और जब चप्पल उतारते हो very early, afterwards it becomes mechanical also, but very early days when you are also very enthusiastic to communicate, chappal utaro and take a pause, and everything that has happened in the class up to the point you came to the class, leave everything with your chappal. Mentally leave it. It's an exercise, it's a willful decision. It is a decision taken out of an understanding that what you're stepping into now, that is a totally different realm. It is a realm of knowledge. If my mind is going to remain preoccupied with what I have to do, then it won't be available for what I have to know. And Atma Vidya is something you have to know. You cannot do anything about it. So, for that little 1 hour, 1.5 hours, let your mind be completely available to the knowledge that you are listening with absolute open mind and no preoccupation of what you have to do, no thought of responsibilities and duties. जब सुन रहे हैं एकदम शांत होके मन को in a state of as if held in surrender to the words, not to the person, to the words of the Shastra. When you hold that mind in that state and you receive the knowledge, it goes straight inside you, and that knowledge starts working through your memory because you've absorbed the knowledge. Your mind was quiet, it was peaceful, you absorbed the knowledge. Those thoughts that were planted through Shravanam, they remain in your chittam, they remain in your memory, and they arise again when the occasion is needed. They rise again as per the need, as per the situation. Suddenly, that thought will come across, or when you're sitting by yourself, etc. It's a process over a period of time. So, constant listening. What does Janak, etc., all those, what did they do? Through constant listening, while a part of their mind is engaged in doing what needs to be done, जो करना है जिस वक्त, उस वक्त के लिए आप वो एक part of your mind is doing, but the other part of you, another part of your mind, is focused entirely, remains focused on the knowledge that you have already gained by Shravana. सुन के जो भी आपके अंदर बैठी है ज्ञान, जितनी समझ आई है, अभी की जितनी समझ है, उस समझ के साथ हम जुड़े रहते हैं. एक हिस्सा हमारा कर्म करता रहता है, ड्यूटी की दृष्टि से करता है, अपनी चित्त शुद्धि के लिए करता है. कर्मों में हमारी इम्प्योरिटी दिखती है, हमारा राग द्वेष दिखता है, हमारा अहंकार निकलता है, हमारे भाव एक्सप्रेस करते हैं जब हम कर्म करते हैं, व्यवहार करते हैं. A part of me stays focused on through the organs of action, doing what I'm supposed to do. A part of me observes the impurities that rise up. That impurity that rises up, I know they have to be diluted first and then eradicated. Through Arpanam Buddhi itself, they'll happen. I remain doing what I have to do, and one part of me remembers for what objective am I doing these duties. That part of me which remains anchored to the knowledge that I have gained. That is what Janaka's story with Shuka explained to us. Shukadev went through the entire palace with a pot of oil on his head, and yet he could remember everything that was there in all the rooms of the palace. What a beautiful exercise. Even at that level, it is such a beautiful exercise. It also shows the adhikaratvam of Shuka. He had so much gained already. He was an adhikari for Gyan. His father said, go enter Grahast ashram. His father, being Vyasa, says, आपको गृहस्थी में गृहस्थी लेनी है आपको. You have to marry and etc. And through Janaka, he gave them those examples. And Janaka showed him how it was possible. It looks very difficult. But what looks difficult is only because our entire mind is available only to our own sense perceptions and relations. It is available to our own wants and our own desires. We have not raised a part of our mind to identify with the knowledge. We have not raised a part of our own अपना उद्धार करना, उत्तिष्ठ. We have not raised a part of our own self to attach it to the knowledge. वो जब जुड़ा रहता है ज्ञान के साथ, और फिर जब कर्म करता है इंसान, जो उसे करना है वो कर्म योग बनता है, और वो कर्म योग उसको धीरे धीरे ज्ञान निष्ठा में ले आता है, just as Janakadaya. And then came a little analysis, or a little more depth, a little more perception. Shankara and Madhusudana uh, helps us gain, when they said, why do they act? When, if they are gyanis, Janakadaya, ज्ञानी हैं, तो वो कर्म क्यों कर रहे हैं? लोक संग्रहम एव अपि संपश्य कर्तुम अर्हसि. संपश्यन means देखते हुए. अपि means तुम भी. Just as Janakadaya, api, you also. O Arjun, संपश्यन, keeping in mind, keeping in view, देखते हुए. किस चीज को देखते हुए? लोक संग्रहम, लोक संग्रह को देखते हुए. कीप दैट इन योर माइंड, इन योर मेमोरी, इन योर अटेंशन, इन योर फोकस, कि मुझे क्या करना है, क्यों करना है. फॉर द सेक ऑफ लोक संग्रहम कर्तुम अर्हसि, यू. सेकंड, you do karma. Kartum, you do karma. It's a definitive. Kartum, the end there says तुम करो, तुम्हें करना है. क्या करना है? लोक संग्रह के लिए कर्म करना है. And so the first line we saw in the last class, karmana eva hi purve kshatriyaha, giving the example of previous Kshatriyas who were Vidvamsaha also, knowledgeable also. What happened to them? Samsiddhim. What is Samsiddhim? Moksham. What about Moksham? Gantum asthitaha, pravrittaha. They attained moksha. They went to moksha means they attained. Means what? They abided in Atma Nishtha. Ke, who were those Purva Kshatriyaha? Janakadayaha, Janaka, Ashwapatti, and others. Now there is this little extra perception. Yadi te refers to Janaka, etc. Those Gyanis, Vidvans, and abiding in their karmas. Yadi, if, sorry, excuse me, Prapta Samyak Darshana, if they had gained Samyak Darshan. What is Samyak Darshan? Samyak means comprehensive, whole, WHOLE, पूर्ण दृष्टि. जिसकी दृष्टि पूर्ण हो गई है. पूर्ण दृष्टि means what? जिस दृष्टि में भेद नहीं है. भेद means what? जहां प्लुरलिटी, ड्युअलिटी दिख नहीं रही है, भेद नहीं दिख रहे उनको बुद्धि में. Means what? अहंकार नहीं है. अहंकार से भेद होता है. So when we have jiva drishti, we see division, we see duality, we see plurality. We have that ahankar, jiva drishti, because of which our knowledge is divided as what? Aham, mama, na mama. Means what? It is divided between ye main hu, ye mera hai, और ये मेरा नहीं है, मेरे नहीं है. That sambandha which is though forming apparently, but it has divisions in it. That is asamyak darshan. It's not complete. It's not one. There is a division of मैं and jagat. That division further is also jiva, jagat. Because there is these two, but connecting these two, we also have Ishvara. So the division is between Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. But in Vyavhar, this division comes out as Aham and Mama. This is a Samyak Darshan. From where do we have Jiva Drishti? Atma Avidya. Because of Atma Avidya, we have Jiva Drishti. That Jiva Drishti is the one which is apparent word is important, apparently making me see the divisions. I see them as divided, asamyak. But what about those who have ज्ञान प्राप्त कर चुके हैं, आत्मनिष्ठ है, उनकी दृष्टि तो सम्यक है, कंप्लीट है, होल है, मीन्स जीवा जगत एंड ईश्वर भेद is dissolved in आत्मज्ञान. बुद्धि में अब वो सेंस ऑफ डिविजन, बुद्धि में वो कंपार्टमेंट नहीं है. What are the compartments? What Shastra tells us, Jiva Jagat Ishwar. In Vyavhar, our compartments are ये मेरे हैं, ये मेरे नहीं है. In fact, जो मेरे हैं, my duty starts from there only. My sense of duty comes because ऐसे ये मेरे हैं. Arjun has got confused because he says ये मेरे हैं. भीष्मा मेरे हैं, my grandfather. द्रोणा मेरे गुरु हैं. वो जहां मेरा आ गया, that division created entire samsar. So those who have Janaka, Ashwapati, etc. have gained प्राप्त. प्राप्त हो गया है उनको. क्या? सम्यक दर्शन. They have a whole vision. Their avidya is destroyed, jiva drishti is destroyed, and therefore there is no division seen. Tat, they, that, loka sangrahartham, they are remaining doing karmana saha eva. Karmana saha eva. They remain doing. I'm reading this line. Karmana saha, along with karmas. They remain doing what? Loka sangraha. And what is that loka sangraha? It is not that they have a desire. मुझे ना सेवा करनी है दुनिया की. मेरे में इच्छा है. I have a deep desire to help the society, the needy, the underprivileged, the various causes that we all get motivated by. That's not wrong. That's good. It's a part of karma, and that seva is a part for chitta shuddhi. But these who are सम्यक दर्शनास, जिनका ज्ञान पूर्ण है, क्या वो इच्छा से काम कर रहे हैं कि मेरी इच्छा है कि मैं दुनिया का उद्धार करूं, मेरी इच्छा है कि मैं दुनिया को ज्ञान दूं, मेरी इच्छा है कि मैं दुनिया से गरीबी हटा दूं, मेरी इच्छा है. आफ्टर ऑल सम्यक दर्शन है. एंड जनका आदयः means Janaka and all these great people, kings, had a lot of power and wealth. In every way, they were very powerful kings. They could have completely dedicated themselves to uplift the society. But that's not what they do. They do लोक संग्रह. कर्म करते हैं लोगों के लिए क्या हितकारी है, वो कर्म जरूर करते हैं, बट क्यों करते हैं? प्रारब्ध कर्मत्वात्. उनके प्रारब्ध में आया है. What is प्रारब्ध? Those past karmas of theirs which they have to exhaust in this lifetime, which knowledge cannot destroy. Knowledge cannot exhaust. Knowledge cannot burn those karmas. Karma phal. वो उनकी destiny, as you say in English, उनकी destiny बन के आए हैं. And because it is destiny, means it is their prarabdham, they only execute the karma. They only do what they are to do, but entirely for the sake of others. Loka sangraha. And loka sangraha Also, our acharyas like Shankara and Madhusudan and all these who have written these beautiful commentaries, who have preserved the knowledge through these commentaries, they have, um, I would say, how the Egyptians mummified the bodies to prevent decay. What is that process? It's mummifying, right? They mummified the bodies of great people, the great kings, etc., rulers, so that the body doesn't destroy, doesn't decompose. What have they done? According to them, it doesn't decompose. What has Shankara and these acharyas done by writing such commentaries? They have preserved it. It has become encapsulated, it has become undecayable. That drishti is now here in the words. So he says, they say, what is that lokasangraha? It's not a word that I can interpret the way I like. Service to mankind. Another one says lokasangraha it not just mean helping those on the roads instead of doing all those. People ask the people say one of the contentions against Hindu culture is that you pour so much into the deities. Why don't you just feed the people? Isn't that better in a way? Now, many people will have different definitions of lokasangraha. According to these acharyas, they give a definite definition as well. For now, it's going to come in the next paragraph, but for now, what they are saying is just as they remained with Samyak Darshan, ज्ञान प्राप्त हो गया है, अटैच्ड अंतकरण उसके साथ जुड़ा है, आत्मनिष्ठ है उसके बावजूद. Once you're आत्मनिष्ठ, there is nothing left for you to do. कुछ है ही नहीं करने को. But you've gained moksha, so you have nothing else to do. Yet karmana saha eva. You keep doing what you're supposed to do, prarabdha karmatvat. And that karmana eva asanyasya eva karma. Without taking renunciation of karma, छोड़े बिना कर्मों को अपने, असन्यस्य, न संन्यस्य, संन्यास का लिए बिना, संन्यास को लिए बिना, एव कर्म kurvan. They keep doing that. And that is how they establish in Atma Vidya, doing what you're supposed to do. Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, here now, this you have taken, saying it is Samyak Darshan. But supposing someone says, but Janaka are there, if they're doing karmas and their duties, like the other example we said of the sannyasi Bhai, Guru Bhai of Janaka, who went to see if Janaka was a Gnani or not, and he went there. So he had a doubt. Itna kaam karte karte, how can it be that your mind doesn't get involved in it? It's a very beautiful exercise for all those in Pravritti Marg. How can your mind not get involved in what you're doing? That when he had a doubt and he got verified by seeing that Janaka doesn't waver at all when it's told Mithila is burning. Janaka doesn't waver. He says, what is there that is burning? How can Atma be burning? In other words, the tatparyam of that statement was, how can Atma burn? Whatever is to be burnt will get burnt, but there's nothing that I possess or belongs to me, which I can say, Mera kuch chal raha hai. The whole kingdom he is detached from, but his actions were perfect. That he says. But if you think he was not a Samyak Darshi, aprapta Samyak Darshana, Janakadaya, those kings were not, they were like still in the marg of moksha. They were not mukta. अप्राप्त सम्यक, अभी उन्हें प्राप्त नहीं हुआ सम्यक दर्शन. Their vision hasn't gained wholeness. It's not become one. It's not become ekam. अगर वो नहीं है, तदा, even then, कर्मणा सत्व शुद्धि साधन भूतेन, तदा, even then, कर्मों को करते हुए, साधन बनाते हुए, सत्व शुद्धि साधन. It is your sadhan for sattva shuddhi, antakarana shuddhi. As I just said, it is through karmas only that our impurifications surface. When I'm sitting quiet by myself, where is the impurification? If you don't interact at all in the world, where is the impurification? It suddenly springs up with, you may be absolutely in a quiet, peaceful mood and even in a very cheerful mood. But suddenly you may meet a new person and there is a new person that comes out from you. You know, when we were studying, at that time, there was a book, it's there even now, it's quite a classic, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And it was a side reading suggested. Pad lo, you know. When you read that book, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you realize that everybody thinks that I am a complete person. But truly speaking, with every person, you are a different person. उनके गुणों के हिसाब से आपके गुण भी व्यवहार में घुसते हैं. आपके गुण और उनके गुण का व्यवहार होता है. That shows that your identity, your individuality, what you see as one perception, I, मुझे I दिखता है. Complete one perception मुझे दिखता है. But that one perception is different with different people. I have a different personality with different people. There is a different set of interactions you have. Like, for example, the interaction you have with your family members, you don't have with your friends. You are a different person. With your friend, with your close friends and not so close friends, with colleagues, as many people, very embalmed, that was the word, that's right. As many people, very rarely you would find that you are one with all of them. If you are, that's a state of sattva shuddhi, where you can maintain your same bhav with anybody, irrespective of what gunas they have. But here, if you are not samyak darshan, you don't have samyak darshan, then they were doing first as karmas as a sadhan for sattva shuddhi, chitta shuddhi. And then they got samsiddhim, asthitaha. Then he says, here Shankara says, Atha manyase, if you now think that those Janakadihi were ignorant people, अजानत भी ही, and therefore they have karma. वो जानते नहीं हैं तो उन्हें कर्मा चाहिए चित्त शुद्धि के लिए. Definitely they have to do it. But what is the kartavya left for samyak darshana? Who has samyak darshan? They are krita kritaha. Krita arthena. What is left for them to do? Those who are samyak darshana. Bata means they are endowed with samyak darshan. कर्तव्यम क्या है उनके लिए, कृत क्या है, क्या करने के लिए है. There he said tathapi, even then, those who have samyak darshan, again Shankara says, prarabdha karma yataha, they remain doing, prayatna karte rehte hain, according to their prarabdha karma. What they did, tvam, it's in your prarabdha karma also, Arjun. You also, loka sangraham eva api. Keeping in mind loka sangraha, you also act in lokasya, for the sake of loka, for the sake of others. What is that loka sangraha? Here he gives one of the definitions. उन्मार्ग प्रवृत्ति निवारणम लोक संग्रहम. Absolutely fascinating definition. Unmarg pravritti nivaranam. Nivaranam means withdrawal, removal. Removal of what? उन में प्रवृत्ति होने वालों को withdrawal ला, रोकना, वापस लाना. उन मार्ग means उत्तमार्ग means downfall. जो अपने ही ड्यूटीज को छोड़ के राग द्वेष के ऊपर काम करते हैं, राग द्वेष से काम करते हैं, अहंकार से काम करते हैं, ईश्वर अर्पण बुद्धि, प्रसाद बुद्धि, कर्म योग कुछ नहीं पता इनको, दे डोंट एक्सेप्ट ऑल दिस, अपनी इच्छा को पूर्ति के लिए ही कर्म करते हैं, वो धीरे धीरे उन मार्ग में प्रवृत्त होते हैं. मीन्स दे slowly start having a fall of their own inner stature. अपनी ही जो अवस्था है of inner maturity that they may have come with also, उससे भी वो गिरते रहते हैं. They keep falling into the realm of senses. They keep slipping into the realm of individuality. That keeps getting stronger and stronger. They keep moving towards acquiring संसार, उसको इकट्ठा करने लगते हैं. ऐसे ऐसे कर्म में उलझ जाते हैं कि जिसका फल भोगना अनिवार्य हो जाता है, and that फल will only bring them more sorrow and suffering. लोक संग्रह क्या है? He says you have to act to prevent others from slipping away in their own गति. उन मार्ग की तरफ ना निकल जाए, उसको रोकने के लिए, उससे उठाने के लिए, उनको उससे लिफ्ट करने के लिए. He says लोक संगतम एव अपि प्रयोजनम संपश्यन. इसी प्रयोजन को ध्यान में रखते हुए you also संपश्यन कर्तुम अर्हसि. You also act keeping this prayojan in your mind. So far okay?
Prithiji, what is the difference between prarabdha and ren? क्या आप ren छुपा रहे हो?
Good question. There are two ways in which we look at rin chukana. When we did it in the context of Panch Mahayagnas, we are seeing rin there as a presumed attitude कि हम मान के चल रहे हैं कि है. उसको प्रिवेंट करने के लिए, ऋण को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए हम पंच महायज्ञ कर रहे हैं. But there is some sort of a experience which is unavoidable in life, which despite your efforts you go through. वो प्रारब्ध कर्म है. अब वो एक ऋण था कि नहीं, यू कह नहीं सकते हो कि ऋण के कारण आपका प्रारब्ध कर्म है, क्योंकि ऋण मीन्स आप उसको उतार सकते हो. ऋण चढ़ना मीन्स व्हाट? आई कैन रीपे बैक. बट प्रारब्ध इज समथिंग which now I cannot undo. So your prarabdha could have come from a rin in the past that you can't see, which is a possibility. But if it has fallen into the category of prarabdha, you cannot alter it, you cannot eradicate it. मगर ऋण एक चीज है जो मैं अपने कर्म, अभी वो प्रारब्ध नहीं है मेरा, मैं अभी भी अपने कर्मों से उसको उतार सकती हूँ या उसको मॉडिफाई कर सकती हूँ, उसको चेंज कर सकती हूँ. इनफैक्ट आई कैन मेक इट कंप्लीट ऑपोजिट ऑफ ऋण. जिसका मुझ पे ऋण था और वाइस वर्सा, अगर मेरा किसी पर ऋण था, मैं उतारते उतारते उसको ऋणी बना सकती हूँ. दैट इज द नेचर ऑफ ऋण. बट व्हेन वी डू अवर कर्म योग, हम ये सब एटीट्यूड ध्यान में रखते नहीं करते. हम तो ये सब मान के चलते हैं कि कुछ ना कुछ अनहोनी या अनवांटेड हमसे हो ही रहा है. एंड द फैक्ट दैट वी हैव रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम एंसेस्टर्स एंड टीचर्स and rishis, we are already receiving from people around us, so we are presuming that I also have to do something. तो वो ऋण ना चढ़ जाए इसलिए हम ये कर रहे हैं, वो प्रारब्ध बने ही ना करे. Is that clear? Good question. Okay, so we will move. Madhusudan, so last class I said, as he brings up a few little extra points here and there, furthering Shankara's vision, furthering not in the sense of he cannot. Shankara's is the ultimate, but one odd word he goes into details, connecting the dots that must have been in other shastras and parampara. After all, when you start writing, you cannot put everything down. And who becomes an author? An author has to choose what is he going to finally present. So the words are limited. There is a lot of limitation in what you would. So Shankara's style had been that he had to keep it extremely simple to understand and enjoyable, of course. So his bhashyam, you can, even if you don't know much Sanskrit, you can still understand. But where there were a few more elaborations needed, which must have been in other texts also, which Madhusudan brings in and elaborates that word a little, which gives us more clarity in certain contexts. So we take up only those contexts. Where it differs, we do not take that up because the vision is only one learning. Now, when he said, Janakadayaha, and he gave us the example of Ajata Shatru, etc. Who were these? These people were Shruti Smriti Prasiddha. Means ये श्रुतियों में and स्मृतियों में इनके नाम आते रहते हैं. They are looked up to. Kshatriyas. They are Vidvamsaha also. Karmana eva saha. I said last class also. Again, what is karmana eva here in the Moolam? Karmana eva saha. करते हुए. And नतु कर्म त्यागेन सह. कर्म को त्याग के नहीं. सह means along with. कर्म को त्याग के नहीं. संसिद्धिम प्राप्तः. What is that? ज्ञान निष्ठाम आस्थिताः. They gained ज्ञान निष्ठा. How? Shravan adi sadhyam. So through Karam Yoga, Chitta Shuddhi, that much Shankara brings in the context of Karam Yoga. But we all know, and Shankara knows that we are supposed to know. So he omits that because he said it in other places in the Bhashyam. That, sorry, excuse me, everyone. Pardon me. That Shankara says over there that it's understandable, he said it before, karmas will only give you chitta shuddhi. So Shravanadi, he doesn't need to add. Madhusudan helps us remember, just chitta shuddhi will not be the madhyam for jnana nishtha. Chitta shuddhi, that shant manaha, as I just said before, चप्पल उतारते समय अपने पूरे मन को खाली करके, अलर्ट रख के, परसेप्टिव रख के, ओपन माइंड होके, इंक्वायरिंग होके, like a child who wants to know everything, who wants to learn what is being said. With that frame of mind, श्रवण आदि जब करते हैं, श्रवण करते हैं, आदि मीन्स मनन एंड निधिध्यासन, वो साधन बनते हैं. फॉर व्हाट साध्यम? फॉर द साध्यम ऑफ ज्ञान निष्ठा. वो बैठ जाते हैं उस साध्यम में. दैट गोल इज अकम्प्लिश्ड. हाउ डिड दे अकम्प्लिश? नॉट थ्रू कर्म त्याग. Look at the different emphasis. The emphasis is कर्म त्याग के नहीं, कर्म करते हुए, all that they do, the tyag of, are those unwanted impurities that disrupt the quality of action. आपका अहंकार आपके कर्म को छोटा बनाता है, आपका राग द्वेष आपके कर्म को मलिन करता है. So कर्म योग purifies the mind. Na karma tyagena. So he says, he yasmat evam, because of this, therefore, tvam api, because they gained jnana nishtha not by karam tyag but by doing karma, you too, you also are a kshatriya vividishu, you are a desirer of moksha, जानना चाहते हो, आपको मोक्ष प्राप्ति चाहिए, आप इच्छा रखते हो मोक्ष की, विद्वान वा, यू आर ऑल्सो अ विद्वान. तीन चीजें हैं. दिस इज द क्लैरिटी फर्दर. सो अर्जुन भी विद्वान है, अर्जुन को भी मुक्ति चाहिए, अर्जुन भी क्षत्रिय है, जनक आदि भी, all three. Therefore, karma kartum arhasi iti anushangah. Anushangah means that should be the context and the spirit in which you, the continuity of the state. Tatparyam. Implication is the right word. The implication is, oh Arjun, you also do. And then here he said, I said in the last class, there are some Smriti Vakyas that Madhusudan ji brings up to show why sannyas to वैसे भी तुम्हारा अधिकार नहीं है अर्जुन, तुम क्षत्रिय हो. All this Shankara doesn't say because it's not needed. His whole emphasis is on making us get to do karam yoga, gain a chitta shuddhi, have shravanam of the shastra, do mananam, purify yourself, establish in jnana nishtha. All this is possible in one lifetime, within a lifetime. So Shankara focused commentary. Here he gives us this little extra reason why Bhagwan said to Arjun कि तुम संन्यास नहीं ले सकते. With the help of the quotations, means स्मृतियों में आया है. Smriti, of course, is a lesser praman than Shruti is. Shruti is Upanishads, the knowledge of the Upanishads. Smritis are all these Puranas, Itihasas. Mahabharata is a Smriti. So in these texts, various texts, Dharma Shastras also, he says here, Brahmanaha putraishnayaha cha vittaishnayaha cha lokaishnayaha cha vyuthaya bhikshacharyam charanti iti. This is a famous statement showing the state of sannyas, mental sannyas. कौन अधिकारी है संन्यास का, कर्म संन्यास का अधिकारी कौन है? This is a statement from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and Shankara quotes it left, right, and center everywhere. And it's wise to remember this because it comes very often. Who is a Brahmin who has given up the three Aishnas? Aishnas means desires. उसमें है ही नहीं है, तीन इच्छाएं नहीं है. किन की इच्छाएं? पुत्र की इच्छाएं, means progeny, means continuity. वित्त की इच्छा, accumulation of wealth. लोक की इच्छा means स्वर्गलोक etc. means पुण्य कर्म करने की इच्छा, अच्छे अच्छे कर्म करूं so that tomorrow I'll have a, why am I doing this karma? For punyam. Why am I doing this loka seva? For punyam. Why am I doing japa? For punyam, to gain the anugraha of Ishvara, so that when I need it, I'll have Ishvara's anugraha to ease me in life, my difficult stages. That punya drishti nahi hai unke paas. They don't have it. They've given it up. So what do? Bhikshacharyam charanti. They move about. They don't actually, traditionally, they are not even supposed to stay in a place more than a certain time. Charanti, so this being in that time, charanti means keeps moving. Bhikshacharyam, living on, acharan unka bhiksha ka hai. Bhiksha means I do what I have to do I stay on whatever comes, whatever is brought to me, I stay on that. I live on bhiksha. So he says, they are those who live on bhiksha. Iti, this is a quotation. Sannyasa vidhayake vakya. This is a vakya which is vidhayak of sannyas. संन्यास का विधान करता है ये. संन्यास विधायक वाक्य है. In these vakyas, such vakyas, brahmanatvasya vivikshitvat. The Brahman is the vivaksha. The implication is those who were Brahmins. Brahmins means those who had a deep desire to know Brahman. Not just Jati Brahmin, but who had a desire to know Brahman itni tivra hai that in that desire they have given up these three forms of desires. Those desires do not push them into doing something. Only thing that pushes them is the desire to know Brahman and what leads them to Brahman. उतनी जिज्ञासा है और उतनी प्रवृत्ति कर लेते हैं. बाकी they live on bhiksha. Whatever comes to them, they manage their life within that. Iti. So who is the sannyasa vidhayaka? This is a Shruti, Upanishad Vakyam. So it is a Shruti Vakyam. So Shruti being the highest Pramanam, here the Acharya says, the Shruti says, it is those who are the desirers of Brahman, a Brahman. They were called Brahmins and they had the Sanyaska Vidhan, was implied to them. What about the Kshatriyas then? Swarajya kamaha raja rajasuyena yajeta. This is again a mandate. Yajeta means it's a yajna karo. That means it's a Vedic injunction. Swarajya kamaha. Swarajya kamaha means desire for Swarajya, my own kingdom. My own Rajyam should be up to Swargam. So Indralok may be mera Rajya ho. When I have a desire for Swargam, that is a Raja. And he was given the right adhikar for Rajasuyena Yajna. Through Rajasuyena Yajna, you will get Swargam. Who can do that? Kshatriyatvat. Who is of the nature Kshatriyat, Kshatriyatva, qualities of Kshatriya, but like that. Who has the qualities of Kshatriya in them, unko kaha gya, you can do Rajasuyena Yajna. Then he quotes another Smriti. Chatvara ashrama brahmanasya. All the four ashramas are there for a Brahman. Brahman means again desirer of Brahman. Trayo rajanasya. Rajanyasya. 3 for Rajanyasya means Kshatriyas. Dvau Vaishyasya. 2 ashramas only for the Vaishya. Vaishya means traders. Unke liye sirf brahmachari, grahast ashram is said in the Smriti. Which Smriti they have not written anywhere. So we don't know from where it comes. Does it come from which Puran it comes from? Manusmriti it comes from? We don't know the source of it. But Madhusudan has just said Smritehe. It is written in the Smriti. It must be very popular quotation at that time. So, desirer of Brahman has all the adhikar. He can be from brahmachari straight to sannyas. He can go from brahmachari to vanaprastha. He can go from brahmachari to grahastha, to vanaprastha, to sannyas. He has freedom to move in all the four. But a kshatriya, and remember again, I'll keep repeating because we are so brainwashed to believe them to be castes. Vedas have never given castes. These are qualities. If you have a desire for Brahman, if I have a tivra desire to know Brahman, I am a straight adhikari for sannyas. Despite being a grahast, I'm qualified for sannyas. But if my qualities are more like a kshatriya, kshatriya means I can fight for righteous causes and I get I boil with unrighteousness when I see, or I have anger also. All these are Kshatriya qualities. I have a desire to protect the weak people, etc. And I'm dexterous, I'm skilled for it also. If a Brahmin was to go and stand on the war front, he won't be able to be a good warrior. A Kshatriya who will say, okay, I will teach the Shastra, you, of course, everybody will be able to teach, but what a Brahmin will teach, a Kshatriya may probably teach more from societal angle, society ke uddhar ke liye, and that focus may change a little. In the same way, a Vaishya has only a right for two, brahmachari and grahastha. Ye karte hue, everybody should understand that these are mentioned about the qualities, and from the qualities you were told that you are in this. These are your duties. And even the fourth, the Shudra, which people say were outcasted, no, not in the Vedic system. All four were equally there, given absolutely the same importance. To Shudra, their duties were not Vaidika oriented, they had a different set of duties. Therefore, the Vedas only keeps mentioning the three. Their set of duties was more aligned to helping the other three classes. And to them, it is believed that what a Brahmin would have to do so many yajnas. I've forgotten the numbers, but there were thousands of, sorry, a Kshatriya or a Grahastha would do thousands of yajnas or Nitya karmas in a temple. When he goes to a temple and he does them, Shudra, even if he takes a darshan from far, will get the phalam of that. That is written in the Shastra. We unfortunately, our society, our culture has lost so much literature, being burnt and being destroyed, not preserved. On top of it, given a totally different connotation. So we are not able to find we are not able to trace back from where this comes. The actual liberal way, if there is one culture which was completely democratic, that was what Vedic society was. There was no division, there was no hierarchy. Everybody was given a duty to do which was working for totality. They did their work. So Raja did his work, the Acharya did his work, the trader did his work, the cleaner did his work, and all four did their work respectively, because of which the kingdom flourished. Why was India Sone ki Chidiya, etc.? Because the division of work, it's not the division of people. It's the division of work which we see in any organization even today. You don't have many leaders leading in an organization. You have more workers working in an organization, and the leader is only one chairman. The same thing. Unfortunately, भाषा को इतना टेढ़ा किया है, शास्त्र को इतना गलत रिप्रेजेंट हुआ है, जानबूझ के, would be my, but again ईश्वरा's will, probably he wants to resolve, कोई तरीका तो होना चाहिए सृष्टि को wind up करने का. So maybe this is his way, we don't know. We will have to just accept that our shastra has been distorted, genuinely, knowingly, unknowingly, deliberately, doesn't matter. But these ashramas meant to give a direction to us human beings. Otherwise, भोग रहे हैं हम. आज भी, what is today's world really doing? Completely how to earn money is the only criteria. How to make more money. And now with so much social media, you have new branches of knowledge surfacing. How to make money through YouTube, how to make money through there are courses and courses. All the orientation is what? Even if you're 50, 60, 70, your orientation is only ye mera reh gaya, wo mera reh gaya, let me enjoy this, let me enjoy that, etc. But what was the Veda's vision? That you are not this form, no one can deny. आपको नहीं दिख रहा doesn't mean कि आप ये form हो. You are united to this form and believing yourself to be, I am this. But fact is, you are Atma. You are not this body. This body is your vehicle. This body is your sadhan. It's your instrument. ये अपने अपनी प्रकृति के हिसाब से अपना बदलता रहता है. इसको एक ना एक वक्त में छोड़ना है. जब आप उसको छोड़ोगे, छूटना है. Vedas had that vision in mind. So, to prevent us from dissipating our life, they gave us those stages as if 20, 20, 25, 25 years. First 25 do this, next 25 do. These were broad outlines so that we could channelize our life. And that is what he said here. Then Madhusudan is quoting further. Puranas have also said that. He quotes one of the Puranas, again, name not given. But what I found very, very illuminating is in this Purana, he says, Kshatriya Vaishya Yoho, both of them, Sannyasa Abhavaha Uktaha. It is not only they are only ordained for those two. Sannyas ka abhav means not to take sannyas. Now, this entirely brings the context. Tasmat uktam eva uktam. Tasmat uktam, in this way it is said. Evam uktam. This is what Bhagavata, by Bhagavan Krishna, when he tells Arjun, karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astitaha janakatayaha iti. This verse, Krishna is telling Arjuna, therefore you should be doing your karmas. तुम्हारा संन्यास में अधिकार ही नहीं है. तुम ले ही नहीं सकते हो स्मृति के हिसाब से. तुम सिर्फ कर्म करके ज्ञानी बन सकते हो. There is no doubt. ज्ञानी बन सकते हो, मगर कर्म संन्यास नहीं कर सकते. Okay? And then again he said, he's explained it further a little more in the same spirit, that as a Kshatriya, their entire duty lies in उन मार्ग में जो प्रवृत्त हो रहे हैं, जो अपना रास्ता भूल के भेड़ बकरी के जैसे ना. कृष्णा, आई लव दैट एग्जाम्पल. Krishna being a cowherd boy, when he takes his sheep and cows in the morning, he is still a balak, and when he takes them to the grazing grounds, and all the all the cows and bakris and everybody, all these goats and cows, they go grazing, and then they come together, but they start wandering. घर से वो इकट्ठे हो के आए, साथ साथ चिपक चिपक के चलते हैं. Have you ever seen sheep coming together, walking? They always come in a herd. They come from their homes in a herd, but as they keep grazing, बिखरने लगते हैं. They get involved. They don't realize कि वो एक wander away हो रहे हैं. And what is the job of the cowherd? What did Krishna carry in him? Stick. What was the job? To bring them together, herd them together. So that हम अपनी जीवन को बिखेर देते हैं, सेंसेस में उलझ के, इधर उधर की बातों में उलझ के, इधर उधर के गुणों को देख के, इसका उसका देख के, उसके पास मेरे पास देख के, इन सब चीजों को देख के जो हम जीवन को धीरे धीरे अपना बिखेर देते हैं. Vedas gave, that is taking us to our unmarg. तो वेदों ने वो काम दिया ब्राह्मणों को, मीन्स जो जानते हैं, शास्त्र का अध्ययन करते हैं, शास्त्र को पहले जाते हैं, गुरु पढ़ते हैं, समझते हैं, कोशिश करते हैं, फिर पढ़ते हैं समझाने के लिए. ये जो वो सारा ब्राह्मण को दिया. एजुकेट द सोसाइटी on what is their duties, educate the society on what is their duty. But Janakadayaha, the Kshatriyas, to them they said, means through education, through knowledge, prevent unmarg. To Janakadayaha, he says, you set an example to prevent people from slipping into unmarg. And that he's going to say in the 21st verse. Ki when those Shreshta people like Janakadaya and you, Arjun, because you are in that Shreshta category, exactly like those Janaka, etc. Yat yadash charati Shreshtaha tat tat eva itaraha janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaha tat anuvartate. The world will only follow those people who are श्रेष्ठ, जो वो आचरण करते हैं, श्रेष्ठ जो आचरण करते हैं, उसको ही देखते देखते सब लोग भी वही करना शुरू करते हैं. जो वो सोचते हैं श्रेष्ठ, इवन प्रमाणम, दैट प्रमाणम मीन्स जैसी उनकी सोच है, व्हाट इज देयर दृष्टि, व्हाट इज देयर नजरिया, वो जिस नजरिए को सही बोलते हैं, लोग मीन्स पीपल ऑल्सो से ये सही है. And all this is going to come very beautifully in the Bhashyams, both the Bhashyams. So, why you have to act, Arjun? It is your duty to act. Do it as a Loka Sangraha. Why? To prevent people from taking all kinds of adhogati. Why? Because you are a Shreshtaha. And Shreshta Purushka duty hai that people imitate you. And he is going to say later in the Bhashyam, why do they imitate? One of these Bhashyakaras will say, because aswatantra, they are not independent in their thinking. स्वतंत्र नहीं है अपने विचार में, वो अस्वतंत्र है. Because they cannot think independently, वो जिसको प्रमाण मानेंगे फिर उसको फॉलो करने लगेंगे. They start just blindly following, aping and imitating. So you have to be very, very careful, O Arjun. तुम जो करोगे सब लोग वही करने लगेंगे. तो अगर तुम प्रमाण मानते हो कि तुम्हारे your own teacher and your own people are reason enough for you to give up your duty, then everybody will say, even we will do that. And so, therefore, do your duty. We'll take this verse in details tomorrow. And next verse also, 23rd also, 24th also. Till 24th, Bhagavan is going to now give reasons where he's saying, as a Shrestha, your acharan has to be aligned to what is the knowledge, what you represent in your thinking. That acharan people look up to. And then he'll give his own example. So we'll take that. Tomorrow is Sunday. Yes, we'll take that tomorrow. Okay, we'll end the class. Can you chant?
सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत्. असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभि परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण मही महिषाः, गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः, पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी, देशोऽयं शोकरहितः, ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति Ishan.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.